that's interesting. There was a whole piano run there that wasn't in keeping with his fingers.
Sound check.
Well, g'day there. Welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan. For those of you who don't know me, I am a non-clinical singing voice specialist, currently in my 30th year of teaching. That is a lot. That's a lot. I feel tired just thinking about that. Today we're going to be looking at both of the singers that sang the anthem type stuff from the Super Bowl 2025. We're going to be looking at Jon Batiste and we're going to be looking at Lauren Daigle. And I denied, do I make these two videos? And I thought, well, I think the people who are going to watch these might be interested in both. And what I love about the opportunity to review these videos is they had a wonderful sense of live. We'll talk about that as we go along. And I know already, and I'm doing this pretty quickly after the actual event has happened. Already there has been controversy, uproar around the renditions, the purists, particularly with Jon Batiste. I'll declare up front, typically when it comes to national anthems, I am quite a traditionalist. I really like a traditional rendition. However, and herein lies the tension for me in doing this review, I do like it when artists are brave, when they apply artistic bravery to something as big as this event. Without any further adu, let's dive in. I actually haven't watched these all the way through, by the way. Normally I do. For those of you who have not joined my vocal analysis videos before, normally, and this is a Voice Essentials is a learn to sing channel. We are all about the singing, and that is what we're going to look at, the singing. And normally I would review the videos ahead of schedule, so that I can really deep dive the analysis. We're kind of going to be watching this. Well, you may have even seen it before. Let's dive in and let's see what we hear and see.
To honor America and perform our national anthem, please welcome 7-time Grammy Award-winning artist and composer, New Orleans' own, the maestro, Jon Batiste.
Oh, say, can you see?
So straight away, I know I've just stopped it straight away. It's a bit flat. That tells us, and I'm not stopping it to point out that it's flat. It suggests to me this is live, as in not pre-recorded, and he is not using live auto-tune. Tick, tick, tick. I love it. I think that's fantastic. So many artists now are touring. I'm sorry for those of you who don't already know this. Are touring with live auto-tune. And in events like this, we typically observe very good lip syncing, but lip syncing nonetheless. Often it's pre-recorded. I don't think this is pre-recorded. Let me just take it back and we'll observe that the pitch is just a bit tonally flat there.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
It's interesting to listen to the way he's approaching this. The Star-Spangled Banner. I'm an Aussie, for those of you who have never met me before. I'm an Australian. I'm literally nearly on the other side of the planet to the rest of you. And so I think your national anthem is the Star-Spangled Banner. Please correct me if I'm wrong. The American anthem, it's so typically known to be very difficult to sing. It's not easy. And there's a reason why I've heard some really great artists make a bit of a mess of it, even taking the traditional route. I love the way that he's using a real light tone, and he's kind of massaging the melodies, just sort of floating his way through it and allowing almost the challenge of the melodic line to guide that artistic flow. And for those of you who are not into this kind of analysis, that might sound a little bit arty-farty, but what it does is it allows his voice to find a path through. So he's not overly activating the voice in such a way that it could find itself grabbing onto one note and then missing altogether the next. And it's actually quite clever.
For the ramparts we watched was so gallant, they're streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
It's almost like he heard me talking about the fact that he was quite light in his registration, and then he goes big, as if to prove me wrong. But interestingly, and he's really rocked back in his vocal placement at this point, which is of particular interest to me as well. It builds it, and that's the clever thing about where he started. Was he started quite light, and that's now given him somewhere to go. It's given him contrast. And all too often, particularly in anthems, people start out relatively big, and then they get bigger, and geez, a lot of anthems climax and get bigger and bigger. And before they know it, they're screaming their heads off, and it's just all an uncontrolled mess. I don't get a sense that this is an uncontrolled mess. You leave your comments below and let me know what you think. But I get the sense this is really well crafted. Again, hand on heart, I'm a traditionalist. I do love the traditionalism, but I equally love the artistry here, the intentionality. He has given thought to what he is doing, and that's, in my books, that's good.
Yeah, through the night that I fled, it was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Oh, that's interesting. There was a whole piano run there that wasn't in keeping with his fingers. Did I miss something? Have a watch.
Does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land.
I mean, quite obviously there's a track playing. So again, for those of you who don't, know a lot about the insides, the back end of doing performances like this, he's wearing an in-ear monitor both ears, I think, but at least one. And that will be having his voice piped in to his headphones, just like I have now, but it's just a little bud called an in-ear monitor. And so he's getting his own voice, and he'll also be getting what we often refer to as a click track in the biz, that will have all the music that we're hearing, the drums, the bass, and that additional piano, which is in there as well as, because I'm still convinced this is a live vocal. It equally could be that he's singing along to a completely pre-recorded track, and that the piano that we're watching now is not actually being piped to us. It might be being piped to him. There's so many different ways that they can go about that. But let me take it back, and we'll just have a watch of that little piano run again. Hear that? Dun, 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 dun. And the fingers weren't doing anything. They're doing stuff there.
Of the free, of the land of the free, of the land of the free, and the home of the brave.
And sharp at the end, live vocal. And some of you have never watched me before and watched my channel, so you may not know. I to the point of bias and prejudice, love live vocals. I would rather hear a bum note live than a tuned note live. I just would. That's me. You may feel differently, and that's okay. But I love that. We get that human tension. Yeah, the note is sharp. But the other thing before we go on to Laura Daigle, the other thing I really just noticed there as I was watching him perform, he is one cool cat in his display of performance anxiety. It's almost like this is a stroll in the park. I know he's a multi-Grammy award winner, and so you can expect someone of his caliber and experience to be rather calm, but he's super calm. Like, it just appears to me that, like, oh yeah, I'm singing at the Super Bowl, biggie deal. Let's finish this off, and then we'll go on to Laura Daigle.
Of the free and the home of the brave.
That's cool. I love that shot. Let's dive in. I think there may have been a little bit of controversy around, not controversy, a little bit of comment around this as well from the purists who were. And so I think it's appropriate for these musical presentations of these important songs that, and this is America the Beautiful, that these important songs do have a cultural leaning, you know. And I'm saying that again as a purist, as a traditionalist with these sorts of songs. Let's have a listen to what Laura does.
Singing America the Beautiful are Grammy Award-winning artists, both from the great state of Louisiana, Trombone Shorty and Lauren Daigle.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of for purple mountain majesty.
Again, I think, I want to think this is live. And I'll tell you why, is because when I normally hear Laura's voice pre-recorded, always beautifully post-edited and produced, the voice has a little bit more cut through. It sits in a little bit further front in the mix, and it just has a little bit more ring to it in the coloring of the tone. And you can hear in this that the voice is sort of sitting back in the mix a bit. It's still got that very classic Laura Daigle, sort of gravelly edge to the phrasing. But I really like Laura Daigle, incidentally, if you're wondering. I really like her voice. Let's take it back and have a watch of it. And this is a really interesting rendition too, right? I did a review, if you're interested, of the Carrie Underwood unexpectedly a cappella version of this at the inauguration. And this version that Laura's doing now is wonderfully Atlanta, Georgia. Like seriously different.
Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain.
I want to think it's live, which is great, because we heard a real lift in volume at that moment where she went up. And so, in a post-produced, pre-record, those levels would all be balanced out and we wouldn't get such a big jump, I don't think.
For purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain, America, God shed His grace on thee, and He crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Come on, Jack! America.
Yeah. Lovely movement. We're hearing, dare I say, better pitch accuracy from Laura than we did from Jon. And she's really nailing the center of each note. I always get a bit concerned about some of the tonal qualities and the health of her voice. I must admit, it sounds awesome, but for those of us who are not educated in vocal health, some of that aspirate sort of rough edge to the sound, it's a highly taxing activity for the voice to make, and it can lead to wear and tear and for the voice to fall into disrepair. She's doing a bang-up job here, though, and it sounds awesome.
America, God shed His grace on thee. Oh, and He crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Oh, I'm going to be really nitpicky now, so forgive me. Listen, the voice, the note just wanders, I think, in hindsight, a little bit sharp there. It's so momentary. You only just grab it as she moves to the next note. She just sort of overshoots in that pitch glide as she moves, and she kind of overshoots into the next, I think. Let's listen back to it again.
To shining sea.
If it does, it's so... I really am being nitpicky. Yeah. See? There. Just there before the big pitch glide. Yeah. Woo! I really enjoyed both of those performances. I really did. We're a Learn to Sing channel, and so we identify certain things because people who typically watch my channel are wanting to develop and improve their own voice, and we do that by learning from the best, and we certainly got to see a bit of that then and there. I hope you've enjoyed today's vocal analysis video. If this is kind of your thing and you've only just found me, hey, subscribe. We are an ever-growing community here at Voice Essentials, a global community, and we would love for you to become a part of our ever-growing family. And I very much look forward to seeing you again sometime soon. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.